Trump's approval rating is at a record low of 37%. ICE is terrorizing its own people. The US economy is not doing well at all. Even the grocery prices are very high. Trump hasn't been able to end the Russia Ukraine war. His tariffs are just passed on to the American consumers. Apart from Venezuela, the abduction of the Venezuelan president and his wife, and apart from the attack on wokeism, whatever that is, Trump hasn't been able to achieve anything substantial. Do you think Trump is a liability to the US establishment, or what is traditionally called the deep state? Well, first of all, let us list Trump's achievements or non-achievements thus far. So if you remember, all of you, while he was campaigning for the presidency, Trump repeatedly promised to end the Russia-Ukraine war within 24 hours of taking office. He even claimed that he will have it settled possibly before the inauguration. Right? It's been over a year that he has been president. The war is going on. And no peace deal, comprehensive peace deal or partial peace deal exists. Nothing exists. Terrible failure, miserable failure. You know, back in the 2000s, there was a president in the US called George W. Bush. And those were the early days of Google and search engines and all that. And no one knew what SEO used to be. No, at that time, nobody understood SEO, search engine optimization. And there was a time when if you went to google.com and you typed in miserable failure and hit enter, the first result would be George W. Bush. Somebody had used SEO techniques, which was a very new set of techniques at the time, very new concept, to ensure that Google gave you George W. Bush as the first search result when you searched for miserable failure. Well, today's miserable failure clearly is Donald Trump. When it comes to the Russia-Ukraine war, he repeatedly promised he will end the war within 24 hours of taking office. Miserable failure. What other achievements can Donald Trump boast of? I mean, he has successfully undermined decades-old security partnerships with his own allies, especially Europe, the EU nations, and the NATO nations. He has had this highly transactional approach. He's telling each of his allies that you are a financial burden on me. He has been giving his allies the third world treatment that the allies are not accustomed to. The allies we're talking about here are the nations that are part of the EU and NATO. They are used to being treated as equals by the US. They know they're not equals in terms of hard power or whatever, but the approach, the treatment is that of equals, right? Polite, courteous, diplomatic treatment, respectful treatment, and so on. Trump has been openly telling them on their face that you all are financial burdens to me. He's been treating them like third world nations. Well, that's terribly disrespectful. And Trump's approach has been incredibly transactional. He has focused, he's fixated, he's obsessed on short-term deals, he's obsessed on tariffs and public attacks on all his partners, North American partners, Central American partners, European partners, whoever. And this has essentially actually had the effect of increasingly isolating the US, right? And this approach neglects the major strategic challenges the United States faces. And as we remember last year, April or something, 2025, he imposed the highest US tariffs since the Great Depression, right? And he called this Liberation Day. He said that jobs will come roaring back and factories will come roaring back to the US. What's happened? Every month after that, manufacturing employment steadily fell. It decreased in the US. So his actions have had the exact opposite effect compared to what he had claimed it would have. And then we have mass deportations. We have these detention camps of people, humiliating treatment given to people who are non-citizens. Trump has expanded the use of police, even soldiers as immigration enforcers, and all the ICE brutality that we are seeing all around the place, right? And Trump has been trying to restrict birthright citizenship. That's been part of the US ethos for the longest time, right? Birthright citizenship has been it's been kind of sacrosanct in the US. So that he's trying to restrict, right? So overall, Trump has been, apart from the abduction of Maduro, a miserable failure. I mean, look at the treatment he has meted out to India. And what is the outcome that he has achieved? India said, okay, you don't want to deal with us. You want to adopt maximalist positions. We'll go and deal with the EU. We'll do trade deals all over the place. We'll just ignore you. And the EU has done the exact same thing. The EU went to India. India and the EU have signed the mother of all trade deals. What did Trump achieve? Isolation. Trump is isolating the US. The thing is that nobody can ignore the US. It's so powerful. But nobody wants to deal with the US. Everyone's looking for alternatives. Right? So that's the situation. I mean, miserable failure thus far, Trump. So is Trump a liability to the deep state? Well, is he a liability to the deep state? Not thus far. Why has Trump been allowed to become president? He has been allowed to become president so that he can reshape the global world order. And that he is in the process of doing. His job is to acquire for the US control over all the major energy exporting nations. He's done that with Venezuela. He perhaps may do that with Iran. And the objective is to isolate nations like China and Russia, and even possibly India, and exert more pressure on them, hard pressure. You know, when you have a nation like China, when you have a nation like India, these two nations depend on other countries for their energy supplies. And if the US controls all those countries, well, then they can exert tremendous pressure on China and India. So those things he's able to he could be able to achieve. Venezuela already has happened. He's also cut off Syria from Russia and China. He could do that with Iran possibly. So he's doing all those things, but at what cost? At the cost of isolating the US, at the cost of pushing all his allies away. Pushing a nation like India away. India has cultivated a great relationship with the US over the past 25 years. And this guy, in a period of a couple of weeks, ended all that. There's no trust now. India simply can't trust the US anymore after their antics during Operation Sindoor and so on. So overall, he's doing what he has been brought in to do, but the cost is substantial. Maybe the deep state is okay with the cost that the US is incurring right now.